All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Going to be breaking down the 5-game slate that we have today in the NBA. Now, unfortunately, guys, the New York game is not on the slate, which is probably the best value that we'd be getting, but it is still a pretty interesting 5-game slate. Let's go ahead and break it down. So, guys, to start out with the first game, we got Detroit versus Phoenix. Both teams have a lot of players that are questionable, but both teams have most of their questionable players expected to play. And so with that, we're not necessarily getting any great values. Okay, Devin Booker. Okay, he was just ruled out. Is that... All right, never mind. Okay, so he participated in practice and shoot around. I was assuming he was going to play. Okay, so with him out... All right, a little bit of value. So like Dylan Brooks becomes a little bit more appealing at 6.3. We also have Colin Gillespie, who becomes a little bit more appealing at his price tag. Definitely more in play now. Grayson Allen, probably a pretty safe play now on this 5-game slate as well. Jordan Goodwin's going to be a little bit of a better click here as well. So yeah, it actually a little bit interesting here, but no one's like necessarily like a must play by any means. Ryan Dunn has been someone that casually pops on the cheat sheet as like a mid-price play that you can get to, in a pinch. And then Mark Williams, I don't necessarily love him against Detroit, but kind of worth calling that out. And if we take a peek at kind of the value that we're getting here for Detroit, no one is necessarily popping up as great plays. But yeah, with that Suns news, I do think we're going to just put Jordan Goodwin into the build for now, guys. I like the multiple position eligibility for him. Not the best matchup, but overall we're okay with that. We jump on into OKC versus Houston. Nothing too crazy here, guys. Hartenstein and Easton are out for both teams. That's really it. If we take a peek at it, guys, nothing too crazy here. 223 game total. Houston 5-point dogs in this game. And so real quickly, we'll just sort by value, guys. Nothing too much there for Houston, so I don't really think we want to go crazy with them. And then same thing here for OKC. Everyone's just properly priced. So I think it's pretty safe to jump on into the next game. The next game is going to be Boston versus Miami. Now, let's see here. Is Jaquez now officially ruled out? Okay, he's out. So that's interesting. Mitchell is out as well. And so that really gets us to, I think, we're going to be getting to a lot of Powell. Hero picks up a little bit more usage. Larson becomes interesting there as well. This is a decently high scoring game and a 2-point spread. So that does make a lot of the Miami plays interesting. And so, yeah, we just take a peek at the value that we're getting here. Hero's popping up. Larson's popping up. I don't mind the idea of getting a Powell, priced at 6.4. I think he gives us 40-point upside. Jovic is something that could pick up a little bit of usage as well, but it's really kind of condensed as to the plays that we want to get to. Hero, Powell, I could get to all 4 of these, and actually, bam, some of that benefits a decent amount as well. They all become a little bit too underpriced. Now, yes, the matchup's not the best, but the game total is still very high, guys, even though it's a tough matchup. And so I think I would rather get to Powell right now, guys. You can play him in the shooting guard or small forward. Then from there, who do we want to get to? Well, probably Larson, honestly. If he's going to get that minutes bump, I do think he's fine. The worry is that he gives us one of these lower output type of nights where he gives us 10, but he has the upside to go for 30 plus here. And at 4K, I think that's worth taking the risk on, even though, again, the matchup isn't necessarily the best. Drew Smith might pick up a little bit of run. We'll see if the data starts to like him a little bit more. I mean, if he's going to get 25 minutes, he does become more appealing for sure, but just be on the lookout for that. That's something that won't be updating just yet. That'll be something that updates more throughout the day. And then we got Milwaukee versus San Antonio, guys. Giannis is expected to play. Kyle Kuzma questionable with an illness. I don't think we're really getting much here in this game either. Lower scoring game, 7.5-point spread in favor of the Spurs. And so again, we kind of just take a peek at the value here, guys. For the Bucks, nothing much. We are going to be able to pay up for Giannis if we want to do so. There's going to be enough value for us to be able to do that. And then for the Spurs as well, guys, I don't think we're paying up for Wemby. Castle's a little bit appealing at 7K. Fox, maybe a little bit. I would rather just get to Castle there. But really, I don't think we need to go crazy with any play here for the Spurs. So now we get into what I view as the most appealing game. So Dallas, guys, is expected to be without Daniel Gafford. Davis is still out, and then Cooper Flagg could end up sitting. We don't have him in the projected starting lineup. And just as an FYI, the projected minutes and the projected starting lineups come from 2 different sources, okay? And I kind of do that for kind of a double verification. So one source is kind of saying Flagg potentially could play, only 18 minutes. That's basically saying he's a toss-up. I don't think he's going to play. I think he's going to sit. And so if he ends up sitting, we're probably looking at PJ Washington, Brandon Williams, and Najee Marshall to be very good clicks. And we look at the Utah Jazz guys. I think Lauri Markkanen is going to be good to go in this game. I'm just assuming that maybe he sits. And then Kevin Love is going to be good to go in this game. It seems like both of them sat on the front end of back-to-back yesterday. And so let's just sort Dallas by value, guys, and we are getting Brandon Williams, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, all his 5x options, but we're also getting Clay and Najee Marshall. Again, I'm assuming Flag sits, guys, so we don't want to be playing him. He has gained some prop lines, just as an FYI. That's part of the reason as to why he's pulling in there. But I think we're looking at Brandon Williams, Gafford, and PJ Washington here. Maybe get to Marshall, maybe get to Clay a little bit. So we'll get to Brandon Williams. We'll get to Gafford. Even though I don't necessarily love Gafford, he's questionable himself as well. That could potentially lead to some value, guys, if he does end up sitting. Who could we be looking at bigs-wise? Honestly, I think they could get away with running PJ Washington at the 5. Powell would be the one that starts. Powell would be the play there. And so I think Powell's perfectly fine as a play in general, even if Gafford does play. And then I do think we want to begin to PJ Washington regardless. I really do like the matchup for him. He picks up a bunch of usage, guys. He averages like 45 fantasy points per 36 with all those players off the court. So he becomes an easy click. And when we have an average of 10.3 left over, okay, again, this is kind of the issue on the slate. I love getting to Lauri Markkanen. I love getting to Keontae George here. Well, because we can. Simply put, we can. Okay, George, we can probably get 40 plus DFS points out of Markkanen. If he's active, I think we're going to get upwards of 50. I think that's why he's priced up, and I'm perfectly fine to do that. This is the issue, though. Way too much value on the slate. And so I'm looking at this with maybe Larson there. Maybe we don't need to get to him. Maybe we put Powell in the small forward spot. Then maybe we put Williams in the shooting guard spot, and then George in the guard spot. That opens up the utility, at least for us. We have 7.5 left over here. Yusuf Nurk, I do like a decent amount here, guys. He's someone that could really go off. I'm kind of fine right in the hot hand with him as well. And I think this ends up being a unique way to stack that very appealing game while also getting some of the other value that we are getting on this slate. So that's kind of my first look build for you guys. And then if we take a peek at what the 9 to 5 lineup builders telling us are going to be the top builds, well, I don't necessarily love it as much, although not terrible. Okay, Christie, if he plays, he's a fine value. Fox is fine. But this is the top build that's in. It's getting to Wiggins instead of Powell. Again, that makes sense. Hero instead of Powell, that makes sense. Is getting to Castle. I don't like Castle as much as the data. I probably like the second lineup a little bit more. I'm not really expecting Flag to play, guys. If you guys, let's just take him out, actually. Let's take Flag out. Again, the reason why he's pulling in is because he has prop lines, okay? But we're going to exit him out and see kind of what it spits out to us instead. And so we look at the top builds here now instead. Hero, Christie, Hawkes, Dunn. Again, it seems to always like Dunn. You can always upgrade. You know, he is someone that typically will give you 5x, and so it's not terrible, but also, I mean, with Booker out, maybe a little bit more applicable, but, you know, not terrible to start your day out with him and hopefully upgrade as the day, you know, progresses. But again, we are going to be able to pay for Giannis. I think that's logical to do there as well. So I don't mind that top build that's being pulled in there, guys. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you guys would like access to this tool, make sure to head on over to 9to5sports.com, get access to that tool and all the other tools available on the website for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Leave a like on the way out, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Again, trying to get to 500 subscribers as fast as possible. Preferably, I'd be there before Super Bowl weekend. We'll see if that happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck, and as always, let's keep cashing.